You have the right to speak, dear one. Someone has told you. Someone has told you not to speak. Someone has told you not to use your voice, to be afraid of your power, to be afraid of your voice, to be afraid of your freedom in speaking out and being who you are. And we encourage you to shout it from the mountaintops of, here I am, and I deserve to speak. So go ahead.
Oh boy, that is very powerful. So as I was listening to all of the masters coming in, there is a purple thread of fear and pain that goes very, very deep. That is very similar to what you were saying about me not being able to speak. And when you had said play together, it's more fun to play together or alone, is it not? The fear just comes out of me like, no, I want to be alone. But that is really true. But there's such a bubble of fear around me that is preventing me from allowing others in.
And why is that? Why have you created that around you? We know the answer. Do you?
I do not.
Yes, you do.
I do. I guess, okay, I've had so much trauma in my life. From the time I was in the womb, I found out recently when I was doing some rebirthing that my father was hitting my mother when I was in the womb. So I continued on that with all of the trauma, verbal, physical, sexual, emotional.
Of course. And of course, that will certainly create evidence for you in your life that it is not safe in this world. It is not safe to be seen. It is not safe to be heard. It is not safe to trust others. If I play with others, there's a possibility that I will be hurt. If I play with others and allow them to come into my heart, that I might feel pain. If I play with others, then the trauma will continue. Therefore, it is much more safe to be alone. And of course, that is not what you are wanting. Because no matter how hard you try, dear one, you cannot be alone. In other words, there are angelic realms. There are many beings that are with you at all times. So it is impossible for you to actually be alone. But when you bring that feeling of fear, when it comes to other human beings being with you, then of course that keeps everyone at bay. That keeps you feeling that false sense of safety. If I do not allow others to come into my space, then I'll always be safe. And of course, that can be a lonely road. Yes?
Yes.
And so what we suggest you do at this point is to say, what if my heart knows who to allow into my space and that I am safe at all times because I am always protected from anything that can hurt me? What if you start to say to yourself, I choose a new evidence. I choose to find new evidence that there are people, human beings in this world that I can trust. I choose to allow them to come to me because I trust myself. And when you come from that perspective of, first of all, going within and saying to yourself, I know that I am safe. I know that I am protected. I know that it is time for me to find new evidence. Therefore, I will trust myself to allow in trustworthy beings into my life. I choose trustworthy beings into my life. And you can do this with baby steps. Because you need to build a new story, dear one, build a new evidence. And of course, you may ask, well, why did this happen to me in the first place? Do any of you ask yourself that? Why did all the things happen to me that happened to me? If I am such a light being and I'm here to experience joy and love and freedom and connection, then why do all these other things happen? See, the universe conspires in your favor. if you look at everything that has happened to you with all the trauma and all the things that you have gone through, if you understand that you have a bit of control around that, in other words, you have co-created this for a reason. If you can take on that part of, why did I co-create this? How could I have co-created this as a young one? Well, we ask you, when do consciousness come? Does consciousness come when you are born? Before you're born? After you're born? At 21? At 2? When you become conscious. So if you understand that consciousness is always there, that you have co-created this for a reason, if you can embrace that part of you now and say, I embrace the trauma, I embrace what you might call the bad things in my life. I embrace all of that now because I am experiencing, and I choose to find new evidence that the opposite is true as well. Do you think you can do that?
I do. I think I do it. I have an amazing career, and I help a lot of people through their trauma, and I help a lot of people with their pain.
Of course.
I'm quite sure that that's part of the reason why that's happened to me, or that is me, because I have such a giving heart, and I do help a lot of people. That's my career. That's my calling. But yet,
there is no but there.
Okay.
That is it.
That's it.
That's
just me.
That is
just all of me. Okay.
Yeah, that is it, dear one. That is the
just
answer.
Embrace the whole thing.
That is the answer, you see, because you have a unique ability, as many of you do, when you have those things in your life and in your space and in your consciousness, you come from a unique perspective to how you can support others. And through that growth and through that knowing and that embracing of why you went through these things, now you can say, oh, now I know. Now I am able to reach out to other people and embrace them in a different light because I have a unique perspective. That is the reason, dear one. And because you are doing that, and because you are also supporting others in their trauma or in their growth, it is also necessary for you to understand boundaries. And this is for all of you. You may say to yourself, what I want to do is to support other people. And many of you allow the pain of others to come into your space. Many of you allow the trauma of others to come into your heart. And you can absorb them. And what we are saying is, perhaps what you want to do is to observe them, not absorb them. We have said this before. Observe what is happening. Have empathy for others. Be able to pluck the heartstrings from your own experience and know what it feels like. And yet do not absorb their pain or their fear or their trauma, because it can what many call trigger your own. And of course, that will keep you in that state of trigger, and that will keep you in the state of fear and not trusting.
So in other words, I am complete. I must surround myself with the lights. Thank you.
Indeed, and trust your own ability to find new evidence, because you are living your purpose, dear one.
Thank you.